Pokemon, Call of Duty, Diablo Immortal, Raid Shadow Legends. These are just some of the hundreds of games that are run by scammers, effectively trying to bankrupt you. We're going to expose them for who they are.
What's up, IrishDragon Gaming? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I'm sure you've seen a lot of the bigger, some may say actual Pokemon Unite content creators out there react to this, and that's how I saw this video. I saw their videos pop up yesterday and today, maybe a couple days ago. We'll see when this uploads. I've had 12 to 15-hour work days the past 2-3 days, depending on when this comes out. So I haven't had time to sit down and do this, and I haven't had time to sit down and watch their videos, but I wanted to add my voice to it, even if I am the smallest, basically non-existent content creator in this community, but I still love this community and I want to be a part of it. And I don't think this video paints a very good light on our community, and just based on the title and that little intro and the thumbnail, I don't think it's an accurate representation of Pokemon Unite. So I would like to join these other content creators that have inspired me to do what I'm doing, step out of my comfort zone and try to do this. I want to join them and see if I can't add my very quiet voice in the community to theirs and give an accurate reaction and possibly some better information, or maybe I agree completely with what he has to say. We'll see. But I think we're going to be seeing some misinformation and maybe something we can clear up here. And I'm sure that the other guys that have done these videos have already done it and all that. But like I said, if I can just add my tiny little voice to theirs, maybe I'll reach just one more person that they didn't. If they reached 100,000 people with their videos, maybe I'll get just one person that wasn't part of that 100,000, and it'll be worth it. So let's take a look at this. Open mind going in, but we'll see what it is. Again, just the thumbnail alone discourages me, and I'm gonna try to be nice because I have no idea who this guy is. I only know about this because of the Pokemon Unite content creators.
3 weeks ago, I started playing the incredibly popular mobile game, Pokemon Unite. It seems simple. You're in one team of Pokemon, and your goal is to head to the other side of the map and score goals against the other team of Pokemon. It's completely free to play, and over 100 million people have downloaded the game. But I'd only just finished a tutorial by the time I was slapped with a full-page ad to spend $10 on something called a Unite membership. No way, I thought. So
yeah, get stuff for a membership to support the game. All mobile games do that.
This was all part of a bigger plan to rinse me of everything that I own. It took just 6 more minutes of playtime before I was greeted with this. See, the game gives you a login bonus every single day that you come back to the game and play. But this pass effectively gives you bonuses on top of that bonus, which actually seem pretty reasonable for the 60 AOS gems
Not
that
great
it cost
bonuses,
me, which
but
equates to about $1.
Yeah, $1. Not great bonuses, but something that kind of would make a new player feel like they were getting something to kind of catch up, because this was for the 1-year anniversary, and they expected a bunch of new players to come in for the 1-year anniversary, and probably just wanted to do something to not discourage people, or rather encourage them to join the people that have been playing for a year. Which, by the way, you can jump into this game kind of whenever you want. The emblems made it a little bit more complicated, but I did play a match on my Smurf account that I quit playing without emblems, and I did it with 0 emblems and no money spent on that, just because I was bored one day and I had time for one match and I was on that account for some reason. I might also upload that video just as what I assume is going to be an argument against this. Like, nope, you don't have to pay any money. You don't even need emblems or high-powered items or anything to win, but we'll see. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Money, so I bought it. One of the first times I've ever spent money on a free game, and I felt alive. Kind of like how you feel when you manage to nab one of those Amazon Lightning deals just before they run out. After the first couple of days,
does that
I started
correlate?
to notice that while I was getting plenty of new stuff and constant level ups, and I had been given 4 different Pokemon to play with, I started losing.
For free.
Like, a lot.
Oh.
I started to realize that this game was less about skill on the battlefield. The combat is effectively just mashing your different attacks as soon as they...
Not true. But here's what I think happened. When you start Pokemon Unite, when the tutorial's over, the tutorial's not over. when you start getting to play real matches, you're not really playing real matches. It gives you bot matches. It looks like real trainers. It's their names and stuff, but it's bots. It's not real players in the world. It's so that Pokemon Unite wants you to learn, the developers want you to learn the mechanics of the game before throwing you against real people. So what you're playing for like the first, I think it's like 5 or so matches, you're playing against bots. What I expect happened here is he didn't even realize that, so he kind of felt like he was smashing these guys, and yes, he probably could just mash buttons and beat the bots, but then when he went against real players that didn't take a little damage and start running all the way back to their home base, they started reacting to you. And again, this is a year into Pokemon Unite, so he started playing 3 weeks, or I guess this is just when he had just started, and he might be playing against the people that have been playing for months or for a full year at this point, that have a better understanding of the game, and he just isn't there yet. But with practice and a little bit of time, that gap gets bridged pretty quick.
They become ready to use. It's more about how strong you make your Pokemon before you step foot on the battlefield. So I decided that I needed some held items.
Held
items
items
are
help
what you equip to
a
your
little
Pokemon
bit.
to give them improved stats. So I headed to the shop and I spent about half of the total in-game AOS coins I'd earned so far
AOS coins?
buying 3 items.
Guys, if you've never played Pokemon Unite, stop. Don't do that. AOS coins, don't waste them on items. They're for Pokemon Unite licenses. That's the only thing you spend AOS coins on. Use your tickets, but they give you quite a bit for free all the time to buy items. Don't use your coins. That's a waste of coins. Use tickets for items.
One that increases my maximum health, one that gives me health regeneration, and one that increases
Oh,
my
and
damage
leftovers.
output. And I thought, finally, my Pokemon is kitted
I hope those
out.
choice
I don't
specs
have
aren't
to
for
think about
Char.
this anymore. I can just play the game. So I charged into battle with my head held high, and I got absolutely demolished. It became very clear to me at this point that it wasn't just enough to buy the held items, because when you first get one, they're almost completely useless. Like this attack increasing scope lens that I bought, it was literally giving me a 0.4% extra chance of getting a critical hit that dealt more damage. Imagine adding 0.4% to your dinner one evening. You'd get 1 extra P. In order to become competitive in ranked matches, you actually need to level your items up all the way to grade 30, at which point...
No, you don't. No, you don't. 20's fine. The held items cap at 10 and at 20 for what the main stats of the item do. Now, some of them get some like moderate increases to what they do up to level 30 at their max level, but for the most part, like if you have all your items at level 20, you're fine. You're doing great. Like you are doing great. And you don't have to waste all your or your item enhancers getting an item to level 30, because it takes a lot more to go from 20 to 30 than it did to go from 1 to 20. And you can get a whole lot more items to 20 rather than just 1 item to 30. Do that. Don't worry about getting to level 30, especially early game. Like I have a few items level 30. Oh, and also they give you 3 free super item enhancers that put your items that will max your items out at level 30 immediately. You just have to play the game, level up, and you earn them for free by playing. And if you've already tried to upgrade those items, they refund your item enhancers that you used, even if you upgraded it to level 28 and then you used your super item enhancer to put it at 30. You'll get a full refund on the item enhancers it cost to get to 28. But you don't have to worry about getting everything to 30. Just level them up as you go. It's perfectly fine if you get everything to level 20. Then you can start going up from there.
They will give you a big game-changing buff, like let's say 15% more damage.
There's not an item in the game that gives you 15% more damage. That would be a game change. That'd be a game-breaking buff if a held item gave you 15% more damage. I don't know where that number came from.
But the problem is, leveling up your items is a ridiculous process. You can't earn levels with skillful play, you have to buy them with something called item enhancers.
Item enhancers that you do earn through playing the game, or at least the tickets to buy item enhancers. And there are a lot of things that give you item enhancers as rewards, which is usually in the battle pass that he's probably going to have a problem with because you have to pay gems or money, because that's what gems are, for the battle pass. We'll hear about that, I'm sure.
But then, these item enhancers are so unbelievably slow to earn through any organic means that I was practically forced to make my second purchase.
It was forced!
The Battle Pass. This game, and almost every other mobile game like it, uses Battle Passes as a way to guilt their players into paying more money. Every time you complete a game...
I don't think it's to guilt them. I think it's because games need to make money in order to continue being a game and keep everything running smoothly and improving. And they're not forcing you to do it. They're giving you good incentives, as you can see on the screen here. Yes, the battle passes are awesome. I don't necessarily get them for the, coins and item enhancers and tickets you get. It's great. It's a great gift, but it's for the hollowware for me, really. The battle pass hollowware is always amazing.
It'll tell you the rewards you earned, and then the rewards that you could have earned on top of that if only you bought the battle pass.
Big note there. I don't know what a lot of other mobile games do, but for the battle pass, you don't even have to buy it to get rewards out of it. You can still earn rewards on the battle pass. There's just you can earn more rewards if you bought the battle pass. But if not, you still earn rewards from the battle pass even if you haven't bought it. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. They're giving completely free players an opportunity to still get rewards for playing.
It is just this whole extra stream of rewards to keep playing and keep coming back to the game. And in this case, a lot of those rewards just...
What developers don't want you to keep playing?
Item enhancers. This was $10 in real money. I bought it because the alternative option was to sign away weeks of my life grinding for it, but I was becoming very aware at this point that I'd already spent more on this game than I had in any mobile game I'd ever played before. Still, at least now when I was playing, I could guarantee myself a steady supply of new item enhancers so I could remain a competitive battler. And that's about where you'd expect the story to end, right? Wrong. Because right when I thought that I just paid my way out of my problems is actually when things took the biggest dive so far. Because it's at this point that I realized just how many of these item enhancers I was going to need. See, when you're...
Okay, I tried to let it go a little further, but when he said he had to spend that money, he was forced to become a competitive battler in Pokemon Unite. There's a team called Black Hand that you guys might have heard of that just won kind of a big thing for North America in the Pokemon Unite World Championships. Have you heard of this? They didn't win because they all bought the Battle Pass every time. They won because they practiced their asses off and got phenomenally good as a team. I don't think, if I remember right, they didn't even lose one match or one game in any match. They didn't lose a single game during the World Championship matches. And that's not because they spent a lot of money or because they bought the battle passes every time, because they get their opponents probably did too, but it's not because they did and their opponents didn't. That had nothing to do with their skill level. You get some you get some bonus goodies, but it doesn't, that's not what makes you a competitive battler. And okay, again, open mind, let's keep going.
Upgrading your items, all you can see is how many item enhancers it costs to go from the level you're on to the next level. And so when I saw that all of my level 1 items just needed 3 item enhancers to level up, and then I saw that with this battle pass I could get myself a bundle of 30 item enhancers every few days of playing, I thought that this $10 would easily cover me. Thank you. But what the game didn't tell me was that every single level you go up with your held items, the more item enhancers you need to get to the one after that.
Yeah, better stats
actually,
cost more.
To get my 3 held items to level 30, it wasn't
how
that I needed
experience
100
and
or
leveling
200 of
works.
them. I actually needed no less than 7,761. When I realized
He's
this,
right.
my jaw
I bet.
practically
Again, you
hit
don't
the
need
floor.
level
To put
30.
that number into some perspective, in the entire base game of Pokemon Unite, the maximum amount of item enhancers you can possibly earn, without getting into the whole loot box opening system, is 1,535. If I completely maxed out my battle pass, which is already something that I've paid for on top of that, I could bag myself an extra 360, but I mean, not only would this process take me roughly 150 days of playing every single day to earn, but even with that, I would still...
By the way, on a positive note, I don't know if I said this already, but I gotta stop here. Just like this here, that, you think I'm gonna talk shit about it? No, this is amazing. All of this. I hope one day to have the the video editing skill that this guy has, or at least half of it. I have no idea how to do any of this. Now, I'm sure it is software that you probably have to pay for, but if I bought the software today, I wouldn't know how to do this video. I think it's amazing. This is truly a beautiful video. The editing's amazing. Everything that's going on, it's so much. I can't imagine the amount of time it took to do this, and it's mind-blowing. And I can understand why he's got so many followers and reaches so many people, because his video, it looks amazing. It really does. So just shout out to that. Let's continue.
Still need to find a way to get the remaining 5,866 item enhancers that I still needed. And that's when you have almost no option but to turn to the shop. How much do you think this was going to cost me? A simple, almost required mobile game in-app purchase.
About $100.
100 real money dollars. And if you wanted to max out all of your items, not just the 3 that you currently have equipped, $760. Are you kidding me?
No, exactly. No, don't do this. I mean, you can do this, but just play the game and you get tickets for item enhancers and you level them up for free. You can do this, but that is a waste of money. And it does not help you win. I can't stress that enough. Please don't do it. If you've never played Pokemon Unite and you wanted to get into it and you're like, oh man, I got to do that so that I can play with everybody. Please don't. That's what gives a bad name to this game, and it's absolutely completely unnecessary. Do not do that. It seems like it's a pay to win mechanic, but it's absolutely not. Those items and what you get stat wise is not that big of a deal when it actually comes to what happens inside of the match. Please don't waste your money. Don't do it.
Oh God, please no!
You could probably fly out to Japan, go to the actual Pokemon Center, and buy yourself a real Pikachu for that price. But the scary part of it is that
if those numbers add up, I need to make a trip to Japan. Send donations so I can go to Japan and get a real Pikachu.
at this point,
just kidding.
choice that I have.
My channel's not monetized.
So much time and love into my account that I didn't feel like it was an option to just stop playing. It was either I pay $100.
He so much love and time in his account. I've been playing for over a year at this point, or right at, and he's been playing for 3 weeks and thinks that this is important. I think this is just a guy, again, I'm trying to be nice, but I think this is just a guy that has a lot of money, and he had an agenda for this video when he started, so he just made it a point that whatever he was doing was going to meet that agenda.
Or I accept that I will be disproportionately disadvantaged in every future
You
game
won't.
that I ever want to play.
It won't at
I
all.
decided to go for it, which I know is probably the single most pointless purchase I've made in my entire life, and I have made a lot of pointless purchases over the years, but I wanted to give you guys a real experience.
Like I said.
I wanted to know, and to be able to show you what would happen next. And sure enough, somehow, it managed to get even worse. Because then, only at this point, only $100 into this supposedly free mobile game, did I find out how Pokemon Unite makes its big money. So we've established at this point that
Hollow
Eos Gems
right?
are the premium currency that you
Hollow
can use to
ware.
buy almost anything in the game.
Uh-huh.
It's not the only currency,
Not-
because you
not-
also have Eos coins, which can buy most of the things that Gems can, but you need a lot of them. Next we have tickets, which come in 3 flavors: Eos tickets, fashion tickets, and holo tickets.
2 of those
Fashion
are
and
almost
holo tickets
useless.
unlock new skins
Those
for your
ones.
trainer and Pokemon
Useless.
choice. While Eos tickets let you buy those item enhancers, as well as boost cards that increase the amount of experience points you earn. Tickets, like coins, can be earned in events and challenges. When those run dry, you do need to buy them with gems. Are you keeping up? Because then on top of that, you have Eos.
I don't think he's keeping up, man. So let's break this down real quick. Eos, I'm pointing at the screen. You can't see my finger. Let's use this guy. Eos Energy. I believe he's referring to what you pick up inside the match to score and get your points. Yes, gems can be used. For everything here, and I don't know why there's an arrow from coins to hollowware. You can't use coins on hollowware. What you can do with these coins are get tickets and item enhancers and stuff. But again, don't do that. Coins, those are for Pokemon Unite licenses. If you have enough of these for that, if you're spending real money, it's also this. But they give you a lot of these for free, and you'll be able to get the Pokemon you want to play as long as you play the game. Now, it does cap out at 2,100 coins a week, but that's a pretty good number, and it doesn't take that long. But you do have to play, or you can pay to get the Pokemon you want. But these, almost completely useless. Never, not one time have I spent anything on this other than what they gave me for free, and I have thousands of both of these. And everything in the fashion ticket exchange and the holo ticket exchange. I have everything and thousands of these left. So don't worry about buying these. And you get a lot of these with the battle pass, and some free ones with the holo ticket exchange. A lot of them, really. I mean, this is what they expect you to spend most of your real money on, is the holoware cosmetics, which, by the way, do not help you win this game.
Energy, which is required if you want to play a match and get the proper set of rewards, but is gradually used up every time you do so. And we've even now got the limited time cake currency for the ongoing anniversary.
He just said the energy was required to play.
If you hadn't already guessed,
that's
after
just
2
false.
weeks of playing this game, my head was
Oh, he's only in 2
The game
weeks.
is so unbelievably confusing, to the point of being stressful, and I was about to find out that it is intentionally designed that way. Not to mention that I worked out if I actually wanted to continue to play the game competitively, with full access to all the characters I wanted to use, with a nice selection of outfits for them, and enough energy that I would continue to get rewards for doing so, this game was going to cost me, at the very least, another $1,200 over the next 6 months. 6 months.
Well,
So I put the game down.
don't
my
spend
laptop,
$1,200
and I
on
started
Pokemon
digging.
Unite,
And
please.
this is where I understood just how much I was being and was about to be manipulated, and how widespread these developers, who are effectively scammers, have actually become. So it all starts with the first spend. And this isn't a term that I've invented. This is a term that's actually being used by developers. This is Torolf Jernstrom, CEO of the mobile game company Tribeflame, giving a talk on monetization strategies for mobile games.
The first spend, it breaks the ice, then they think of themselves as spenders in the game. It's okay for me to spend in the game.
And what he's teaching these other developers is that 98% of players, when they first start playing a free mobile game, will go into it under the premise that they won't be making any in-app purchases. I was one of them. Most likely you're one of them too. But the second that these games can get you to lay down your first dollar, they've effectively broken your barrier. I mean, your willingness to then make further payments will skyrocket.
So you need
I mean,
to
he's
break
not
the wall
wrong.
first.
That
In
is,
hindsight, this must be why
is their
Pokemon
goal.
Unite gave me that super cheap login bonus just
Obviously,
6
they wanna
minutes
make
after
money.
I started playing. They don't care about a dollar. They just wanted to crack me, to turn me from a free player into a spender. And I only realized this after watching this developer talk about it, but the way that the game manipulated me into buying it was through the anchoring technique. By first presenting me with an expensive in-app purchase that they actually knew that I wouldn't buy, that Unite membership, they set my expectations that $10 is about what a set of prizes is worth in this game, which meant that when they then swooped in with that $1 deal to get the login bonus pass, I would have felt foolish for turning it down because of the comparative value.
I mean,
I got played. But
he's
I
not
realized
wrong.
that the reason I cared so much about this purchase.
all mobile games do that, really. Like, you start a new game and you're like, the starter bundle, only $2.99 for the next 3 hours. Get it now or it's gone forever. Yeah, that's kind of what they're doing. Pokemon Unite, on the other hand, isn't telling you to, spend this money to get an advancement, to get an edge over people. It doesn't work that way in Pokemon Unite.
And the reason that so many people pour so much cash into these games is based on another simple human facet that's being exploited. We like to be better than our peers. It's baked into our very DNA that our survival depends on having a competitive advantage versus the people around us. And so, pit wealthy players against each other at something, allow each of them to be able to pay for that competitive advantage, and the only party that really wins
That's
is the
not
game
true
developer
with
who's
Pokemon
charging.
Unite.
You can see this technique in all the most popular games, like just recently Diablo Immortal, where you will get completely sliced apart by the players who have spent big money, who are called whales in the industry. Mind you, that's the gambling industry we're talking about. Says something about this. If you're trying to be a free player in Diablo Immortal, you're effectively a side character to these whales.
Okay, that's
and your best
fair.
chance of winning is just to stick.
That one's fair. I haven't played Diablo, but I have friends that started it and realized that there's no way to play it without spending like $100,000 if you want to actually compete with people. This is the game he should have made this video about, not Pokemon Unite. Again, the stuff you can spend real money on in Pokemon Unite gives you no real advantage if you would just play. Like, you're gonna feel like you have an advantage with maxed items for, like, I don't know, a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks, but it's not a real advantage. It doesn't do anything. This game is what he should have made this video about, from what I've heard. Again, I haven't played it, but I hear it's pretty rough on the give us your money thing, or you can't play. This is pay to win. This is what pay to win is. This should be the video.
By their side and to support them. And this is by design. It gives that 2% of the player base who is willing to spend thousands of dollars that power trip feeling that keeps them coming back to spend even more. And sadly, even if you'll never be one of these whale players, you're still unknowingly fueling the system. Being able to tear you apart with ease, it makes you the thrill that the whales keep paying for. And this is where I really start to hate this. If it was as simple as you pay a load of money and then you just win from now on, that would be too kind. That would mean that the devs would miss out on making any further money from the whales. So they found a way around
Again,
that.
that's not
What these
Pokemon
games do
Unite.
now is when you pay to make yourself significantly stronger, they'll let you have your first few satisfying wins with noticeably weaker players to stimulate that reward mechanism and for you to associate that purchase with a positive feeling. But once that's over, we'll soon start pitting you against other players who've also spent large sums of money in the game. Thus,
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this video. Again, that's not Pokemon Unite. There's I don't think anyone has ever suggested that they intentionally give you easy people to play against, because I don't think the rating system or the ranking system for Pokemon Unite can justifiably say if a player is good or bad, and the amount of money that somebody spends on this game does not affect their skill level. Now, none of us have ever said the matchmaking is perfect, but it doesn't feed you bad players to get you to spend more money when it throws good players at you. That I've never heard anyone say anything like that about the matchmaking. A lot of things about it. Never that it's trying to get you to spend more money to compete with the good players, because again, spending money doesn't change your skill level or compare to the people who have spent no money. Like again, like I said, bot matches tricked him into thinking he understood the game. Real people tricked him into thinking he had to spend money, and the developers do in fact win because he's right. He got scammed or bamboozled, as it were, by his own thought process.
always creating this feeling that no matter how much you've already paid, you're always one purchase away from being content, from being better than your peers, but never actually.
That's true. If I just bought that White Knight Charizard Hollowware, I'd be unstoppable.
This is why I felt like no matter how much
I
was spending in
did buy
Pokemon Unite,
that.
I still kept losing. And I mean,
well.
Diablo
And it didn't make
Immortal
me
is
unstoppable.
even worse. You know how like it's quite a big deal to pay $10 for an in-game purchase? You know how like I was absolutely appalled that you had to spend $1,000 in Pokemon Unite?
You don't
Well, in
have
this
to.
game,
You don't
it
have
can
to. Don't
cost
do
you
that.
$100,000 to max out your character.
Is that what I said? Did I say 10 or
$100,000
100,000?
to actually escape this feeling of constantly just needing a little
I've
bit
heard
more
that's
power.
actual-
And that's just until they
that's
release an update that
factual.
increases that cap.
Yeah.
So, I've made my first purchase. I'm
they're
already
gonna do
feeling
well,
the social
but they're
pressure of
Blizzard,
wanting
right?
to be better than other people.
They're already
That's
doing
just
well.
step one of the hook habit hobby model that's
Ooh,
starting
there's
to
more.
become the playbook.
I
for a
actually didn't know
top-grossing
about this.
game. Because to
This is
make the
interesting.
real money off me, they also have to make sure that their game
Yeah, I
becomes
mean-
a habit. And
I mean, it makes
according
sense.
To this guy, the
Makes
best way to
sense.
do that is to give
All
you
of this,
rapid
it makes
progression to
sense that
start
that's
with,
what they're doing.
To make sure that the first few levels are incredibly quick, the first few unlocks are incredibly cheap, and the first few enemies incredibly easy. This stimulates the reward centers in players' brains. The same reward centers that give you a rush every time you pass an exam at school, or every time you get a pay rise at work. And it does it in such a way that your brain will start to crave it. That you'll want to play these games as a regular part of your
Yeah,
day
makes
because
sense.
the progression you're getting gives you more instant gratification than probably any other part of your life.
Unrelated topic. I do want to play this game every day. But it's not because I am financially invested in the Pokemon I've bought. Like, but I mean, I understand what they're saying, and for the most part, for most games, really, like even non-mobile games, like the ones you spend $60-ish, and you remember those discs you used to get, and you put in whatever nice feeling. Even those games, they want you to play them and keep playing them. That's why if you go to GameStop today, I know I said GameStop, I'm sorry, everyone hates GameStop. I went there today. But that's why if you go to GameStop today, certain used games are worth more than other ones because of what they call replay value. So the more replay value, the more you're willing to play that game over and over again, the more it's worth and the more it costs to get. And so yes, obviously a mobile game especially wants you to continue playing every day. And if they can get $1 or $2 out of you every once in a while, then good for them. There's 100 million downloads. If everyone got that $1 pass, they made $100 million. And that's why we have something called Thea Sky Ruins that just aesthetically looks so much better than Remote Stadium. But that money didn't help you win the game.
Your life will. And this is why you barely can find a game now that doesn't have a battle pass baked inside of it. It's less about the $10 it might cost you per season, it's more about trying to form a habit inside of you. At the point where you've paid real cash to get extra rewards every day, who's going to not log in and claim them? And at the point where they do that, why not just play a couple of games too? Now it makes sense why Pokemon Unite was so keen to get me to buy the Battle Pass, because as soon as I did, it
That's
makes
not the Battle
most
Pass, that's
efficient
a
way to
free
play the game from
welcome
now
gift
on
for just
to
playing the
log in a
game
minimum
for
of
14
1
days
per
straight, and
Some
you get
games like Diablo,
free
they go
Pokemon.
even further with this, offering login bonuses that start tiny but get bigger and bigger over time, so long as you log in every day, to the point where you'll actually be scared to miss a day because you'll lose so much progress on this bonus ladder.
Yeah.
But it's the hobby part.
want you to play their
hook
game.
habit
That's
hobby that's the most
why they made the
dangerous.
game.
Because once that habit is formed, and you've already spent vast amounts of time and money progressing your character, this is kind of like where I am with Pokemon Unite right now. These companies know you're not going anywhere.
We're not gonna talk
They
about
have
that.
your complete, undivided attention, and that's when they start
Level
to
4
change the
Pikachu
way
against the level
that they
7
carry
Ninetales,
on
I think.
earning
But we're not going to talk about that.
away from traditional power-ups, because you've already spent hundreds or thousands making your character stronger, and more on
I don't think he understands
convenience. I
Pokemon
find
Unite,
this
guys.
so horrible, but effectively by slowing down your natural progression,
Those
the
are
sole
free
purpose of trying to sell
rewards
you
that
ways
you
to
get
speed
for
it up
leveling
again,
up.
like experience point multipliers, making it so that I now have to pay to get that same high stimulation,
Don't have
fast
to.
progression feeling that I used to get when I first started playing the game.
I never bought a battle point multiplier. They give you plenty for free that you can use, 1, 3, and 7 day ones. Tons of them. Never bought one. And I did not play for almost the whole first season. I came in at the end of the first season, and I'm still max level even after the new cap at 50. And every season I've gotten, or the new seasons they added the extra bonuses that you get for battle points and stuff. I've gotten all of those, spending $0 on multipliers. $0 because they give you them for free so regularly that I seem to always have them. And now they've added this new thing, just probably so you use what's in your inventory that you didn't use because you were already at max level, I would guess. But again, you don't have to buy them. You just play the game and you will get them all. You will get all of those rewards just by playing.
For free. Not a dissimilar strategy to drug dealers, I should point out, who effectively build their businesses by handing out freebies to get clients addicted with the hope that they then become dependent and are willing to pay to keep that high going.
That makes
It
sense.
sounds stupid, but
Honestly,
at
it
this
makes
point in
sense.
the player journey, most will pay real money to earn even, let's just say, a bonus 10% experience points. And it's all driven by something called the IKEA effect. I should elaborate. See, it's a pretty well-regarded fact that IKEA furniture is not the best quality, but because it comes in pieces and you have to assemble it yourself, that effort that you've put in makes you value it so much more. And in the
Oh.
exact same way, developers
That might
know
be true.
even if you realize that their game is not the most balanced,
I thought it was
consumer-friendly, fair
just 'cause it
service
was
out there,
cheaper 'cause you
once
had to put it
spend
together
weeks
yourself
building up
and it
your
was
character
bad
and putting in the
material.
work to make them right for you, your attachment is
But it
so
might be
high,
so you love
you'll
it
be
more
willing to
'cause
go
you
to
built it
great
yourself-
lengths to keep
built
the
it
fun
yourself.
alive. But then we've got the question of value. We've
I didn't know
established
that.
at this point why someone might want to make an in-game purchase, but what is it that's moving that
Because
needle?
White Knight
That's pushing them to
Charizard
want
is
to spend
amazing looking.
extortionate amounts of money. Well, in a large part, it's because they don't realize how much they're spending.
That's
thanks to a
true, I have
tactic
no
known as
idea.
material distortion. The idea of creating a layer
right, I don't have
between
enough
the
money to
in-game
forget
you're
what I've
spending
spent.
and the real-world value of what that's costing you. And I realized, my God, this is so real. Like, when I wanted to upgrade my items in Pokemon,
I mean, it's true. I
had
don't
to
know what
first
I've
buy
spent on the
item
game.
enhancers to do that. But then, it's not like I could just pay dollars to buy those item enhancers. I had
But
to
it's
use
all for
AOS
cosmetics.
tickets. And
Full
then, When I
disclosure.
wanted to buy AOS tickets, I had to use AOS gems. Or, to put it another way,
That's
I had
true,
to
but you
convert
didn't-
my
you don't
currency
have to do
3
that.
times to be able to actually do what I wanted with it. This is
That's just he
borderline
didn't
criminal.
understand.
Because not only has it started to
I don't want to talk over him. That's just because he didn't really understand, and it's Pokemon Unite's fault, full disclosure. It doesn't explain well how all of this works, and that might be intentional to get people that have the money, that they don't care about what they're spending, to do this, but, like, you don't have to. at all. You use your tickets for your items and your item enhancers. If you're out of tickets, that's fine. Play and earn more. You will earn plenty, I promise. And your gems, you don't have to ever buy gems unless you want to play the Pokemon in the first week. No, don't get me started on that, because that makes me feel like we're headed to where this guy claims Pokemon Unite is, and that really makes me unhappy.
To feel like it's not real money being spent.
But it is
I've
confusing
also got
how many
no
different
idea
forms
how
of
much
payment
each
there are
purchase
in
is
this
actually
game.
worth anymore. Not to mention the fact that you can almost never purchase the exact amount of gems you need, meaning that A, you
Brilliant
spend more than
strategy.
you need to, and B, you will always have leftover gems in your wallet that can't be exchanged back for cash, which is just
So
gonna
you get just a
encourage you
little
to make
bit
your
more
next
since
purchase
I already
by
have
topping up
these.
just a bit more.
It's a brilliant
And the
strategy.
cherry
It's
on
worked
top
on
of
me.
This whole alternate cash reality is that if you look a little closer, you realize that this game doesn't have a single mention of the word purchase. They never use the word
That's
loot
true.
boxes, they're prize boxes.
That's 'cause
They
you
never
earn
use
the
word
prizes in the
buy, it's always
box.
obtain.
Once
They
you've
don't even use the word
obtained
shop.
the battle
It's
pass.
an emporium here. It genuinely reminds me of those
Isn't
killer
an
clowns
emporium
that
a
you used to
shop?
see on the internet. They have the most child-appealing, innocent facade.
Same thing, right?
But just beneath that thin veil,
does that have to do-
they're pure
okay.
evil. Imagine if there was like a high
Got it.
street shop that tried to pull the stunt, that made you exchange your cash into tokens as you walked in that could only be spent in that shop.
Nobody tell him about Chuck E. Cheese.
They wouldn't get away with it. Neither should these guys. Oh yeah, and if we say that material distortion makes you pay 2 to 3 times what you otherwise would have for in-game items, then reward randomization, which all of these top games are now using, is going to bring that all the way up to 10 times. This is Call of Duty Mobile. It's actually one of my favorite mobile games.
That's true. He's talking about a gacha system, and that's what's put me off on a lot of games. I'm not going to name them, but a lot of mobile games, because the characters are, or the equipment you can get is based on a gacha system. Like you want a specific X amount of star X character. Well, you get this one free roll a day. Good luck, but you have like a nothing % chance to get it. So you can always buy more summons, buy more rolls of the dice to get them. Pokemon Unite doesn't give you a gacha system for the characters. You buy the character you want. You pay for it with in-game currency that you earn through playing. Now, the emblem system is a gacha system, and you can get multiples of the same emblems over and over again, and it takes forever to get the one you want, but you're still limited to how many of those exchanges you can do a day, which suggests that even if you pay money to get more energy for the energy tanks for the rewards, you're still limited by how many you can roll a day. So it's still not a pay to advance in much of any way.
From a gameplay perspective, but check this out. A lot of the rarest and the most desirable items in the game are locked behind loot boxes. Like, for example, I really want this gun they've got in the middle. It's designed so that when it kills people, it turns them into a shadow.
That's pretty
that
cool.
will win me so much social validation. And it costs...
So is it just a
30
skin, or is that
coins to have
an actual
spin.
gun?
It's about 50 cents in value. So I head onto the store, I buy myself 420 coins. That should be enough to have 14 runs at this. I'll definitely get that gun. But then I lose the first one, and I realize, the price just went up, and it's going to keep going up every single time I attempt it.
That's
from
not
30
good.
to 40
I don't
to
like
120 to 300 and beyond. It's making me feel like I'm so close
But at
to
least
getting it
you
every
can't
single
get the
time.
same one twice.
Like, the pointer will literally
So
sit
you might
above
get super
and
lucky.
just slip past the gun I really want.
But
It will
most
also,
likely,
one by one,
it's
put a received
the
marker
algorithm
over
won't
everything
let that
I have
happen.
unlocked so far, reminding me of how far I've come and encouraging me to finish it and get everything that the loot box could possibly contain. It's only when I checked the hidden stats that I realized this is not a roulette wheel like it appears. Each item does not have the same chance of coming up. But in actuality, the real chance of getting this gun, it starts at literally 0.08%.
Yeah, see,
And
that's
it goes
not a
up
good
by
look.
just 0.01% each time.
But that's not
until you've
Pokemon Unite
received
doesn't do stuff
every
like that.
other item in the box.
Except kind of with the emblems.
0.08%.
But
That
again,
is
not
is
that big of a
disgusting.
deal.
You will,
That is,
you will
I
almost
agree with
definitely
him, that's
pay
disgusting.
At least $100 for this gun. That is multiple times more than almost
like that there's a
any player
Pokeball
would
on
have
his
even
desk.
considered had it just been priced like a normal product in a shop. So all of this explains how these games are able to make, frankly, extortionate amounts of spending seem reasonable. The only thing left is how they create the sense of
We're almost
urgency for those purchases. And the way they do this is simply by overloading the player. You remember how Pokemon Unite has no less than 7 different currencies, and how
Yeah,
it's
but some of
completely
those are
and utterly
completely
overwhelmed by all
useless.
the interlocking systems
They don't
that
do. They're not for
result in.
anything
None
really.
of those needed to exist. You could have had the exact same game where everything was bought and sold with just the simple EOS coins. The only reason that we had to have 7 currencies is to
He's
create
not
multiple
wrong.
separate in-game economies,
not
in which
wrong.
you don't just have to be rich in one of them, but all of them to actually succeed.
You
And it's
don't,
a system that you
though.
can't
You don't
actually
have to be
beat,
rich in
because
all of
the
them.
more resources that you spend on one currency,
Some of them are completely useless, like the Hollowware ticket exchanges and those things. But you don't have to be rich in all, you don't have to be rich in any of them really, because the game will always give you more. You'll just have to play and earn them. But again, you don't have to spend money. Don't buy them.
the more you find that another one becomes your bottleneck. Most games do this through energy. Pokemon Unite has it. And to be honest, the game Raid Shadow Legends system is even more egregious, where every single time you choose to...
Yes, Pokemon Unite has an energy exchange system where you fill up an energy tank and you earn rewards. Now it's just emblems for them. I mean, they're fashion and stuff, but you don't do that. Emblems. But you can literally play the game as many matches as you want, 24 hours straight, never taking a break if you want. We're not locked behind an energy where you can only play like so many matches and you have to wait for or pay for more energy to play. No, it's free to play. It's not pay to play in any way. So it's not like this. This is a bad comparison.
play, you're spending not just your time, but also this virtual energy currency, which you can either wait for stupid amounts of time to recharge on its own, or pay to refill your tank. So, just to be very clear, you have to not just pay to buy your items and level up your character and get your costumes, but also to play the game that's supposed to be free. And at the same time as feeling like you have to
is free.
spend
You
in every
don't
single
have to
direction
pay
at
to
once,
play
you're
Pokemon
also
Unite.
given the feeling that you have to do so quickly. No joke, 90% of purchases you'll be shown in these games, they're all somehow just about to expire. You see timers everywhere, always counting down.
Yeah.
There's no reason why this Pokemon costume should need to expire. It's not like the Pokemon company is going to run out of virtual materials to make them. It's literally just to instill you with a sense of fear that if you look away, if you so much as put the game down for too long,
that's true. It's a
you
solid
just miss
strategy.
your dream item forever. And what I've realized is the worst part of how this game stresses you out on purpose is the way that it handles the Pokemon themselves. You unlock access to cool new Pokemon just by playing, which is great. You even get rare and fancy outfits for them. But they're temporary. Unless you pay to keep them, the game takes the stuff it's given to you.
The
away
Pokemon
from you.
aren't temporary.
And this taps into the very fundamental
mean?
loss aversion that
If
all
you
humans
buy
have.
the license,
We are
they don't take it
biologically
away.
coded to disproportionately value something that we own, such that the idea of losing it would cause us more pain
You
than the
you
happiness
can't
we would
lose
get from
something after
obtaining
you've
it
purchased
if
it
we
in the
didn't have
game.
it. And these gaming companies are now using this to
If
replace
you buy the
just
Hollowware or the
having a shop that
Pokemon,
you can
they're
casually browse at your own
either
leisure,
yours,
for
you
instead
can use
allowing
them.
you to feel like the thing is yours first, and then charging you to not snatch it away from you. The long and short of it, what I've realized from 3 weeks of playing one of these games, as well as digging into why these companies are doing what they're doing, is that the more addicted you become to the game, the more profitable the company is going to be. That success in this industry, it's no longer defined by review scores or player satisfaction, it's defined by how effectively a developer is able to convert an innocent player who just wants to enjoy what they think is a free game into someone who possesses all the traits of a severe gambling addiction. I wish I could be the bearer of good news, but the truth of it is,
I
these
mean,
shady
he's
practices
not
are getting
wrong,
more and more sophisticated as time
that's
goes
just
on.
not
They're
Pokemon
starting
Unite.
to spread from
That is
mobile
other
games
things.
to console games, and we've even just started seeing
He
the
should have made
effects
this
that
game
it's
or
having
this
on the
video
next
about
generation of
different
players,
games. Just he shouldn't have called out
spawning all sorts
Pokemon
of
Unite.
impulse control disorders. So, be aware of games that try to milk you for your money, and feel free to subscribe
They-
to the
they
channel
really
and share
don't.
this video if you found it useful. But if you do find yourself in one of these games and
Oh, it's an
you
ad.
feel yourself about to
It's an
throw your
ad,
phone at a
guys.
wall in fr-
After spending money's bad, give me money for this. It's an ad. Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, that's my take. I know this was a really long video. I'm sorry. I probably could have done it shorter, stopped less, but that's it. I agree with a lot of what he says about mobile gaming, for sure. I just think he's very misinformed, or that's being nice. If I'm not being nice, I think, as I said, he just had an agenda for this video, and he made the facts or the research stack up for what he wanted the video to say. So I hope he's just misinformed and it doesn't understand, which he could be, because Pokemon Unite, we all know if you play it, it's not very helpful on how the game works. in a lot of ways. It's very simplified, and it doesn't get really detailed on anything, but I think he had really good valid points on a lot of stuff, but I think he shot the wrong game. I think he should have gone after some other ones, or at the industry in a whole, not just straight up calling out Pokemon Unite, because I don't think he could be further from the truth about it. Please don't let this discourage you from playing the game. It's an amazing game. Like I said at the beginning, the community is amazing. The people that I have seen that have inspired me to do what I'm doing here, they seem like great people. I don't know them personally. I just know that as a whole, I think this is a really good community to be a part of. And Pokemon Unite is a really fun, really great game for you and your friends to just play casually. Don't spend all that money. Please don't. You don't have to. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Sorry that this video is so long. I'll try to find a way to cut it down. But hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys later. That's enough.